Hi everyone, John here with Military Track Supply. Today I have a 1954 Chevrolet 261 engine. I picked this engine up just to see if I could get it running and put it in a dump truck. And this engine's been sitting for about 40 years inside a dry shed. But nonetheless it was outdoors in a shed. So I just did a real quick look over on it. It had a bag over the carburetor, which is a good sign to keep things out of it. Pulling off the rocker cover here, very clean, the oil's clean. It appears like it was really well taken care of. One thing really unique about this particular engine is it has a 5-speed transmission. Now, Chevrolet made a Clark 5-speed transmission in the 1950s, and they designed it to be put in their heavy-duty trucks to give you one more extra gear of range between, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and that fifth gear being your final high drive, sometimes overdrive, depending on which model Clark 5-speed you picked up. But they're pretty hard to find. So I'm really excited to see if we can get this running. We're going to clean the points up real quick. I know that the engine's loose. I was able to turn it over, but it's pretty stiff, so it's got good compression. And we got the charger on a 6-volt battery, and we got some new cables on it. So we're going to see if we can get this thing started here in just a minute. If it can fire, it'll be a great day. So looking the points over, they look really good. I would say the points are pretty clean, should be clean enough to get some spark. So we're going to do a quick test here. So this is my ignition switch, just a little toggle switch. I've got it hooked up to the coil. I'm going to click the switch and I'll be able to open up the contacts and see if I have any spark. Yep, we're getting really good spark. It looks like nice hot spark. So we know that we have spark. Theoretically, we should add some starter fluid and it should light right up. Going to do one quick check over to make sure all my little cables are tight for the spark plug wires. And make sure the choke is open. I think it's ready to go. Let's give it a try. Wow. Fired over on just a couple of turns. This engine hasn't been started in 40 years. And so as long as you got a loose engine and it's not stuck, it's amazing what these old 6-cylinders can do. I'm going to try a little bit of starter fluid to see if it'll pop over, and maybe we can get started. Now we're not going to run it for very long. We just want to run it just for a few seconds to make sure that it is functional, because the oil on the other side is actually broke off. Now this is a partial flow oil system. So Chevrolet had two different types of oil systems. The first one being partial flow, the second one being a full flow. In this case, it is a full pressurized crank. However, it has a partially flow bypass line that just trickles through an oil filter to get out any contaminants. Not super effective, but it works. It's better than nothing. So this one has the early style partial flow versus the full flow, which forces oil into the oil filter. So now that we got some starter fluid in it, let's see if we get it fired up. Let my battery charge up for a minute here. It's getting kind of slow. So just a key to success when any 6-volt system is being charged or has cables connected to it, 6-volt systems require a lot of amperage. So the larger cable you have, the diameter cable coming off your battery and both your positive and your negative grounding cables, you need to have the biggest cable you can that will allow the most current through it so that it produces the best turnover and the best delivery to the electronic system. So just a heads up, I did put some Marvel Mystery Oil in the cylinders as it sat. So when I picked this up a few weeks ago, I sprayed it right away just to make sure that the rings are not stuck to the cylinder walls. But honestly, with it gasping like that, I don't think we'll have any troubles getting this thing fired up. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, I have this spark plug checker. It's pretty handy for knowing whether or not you're getting spark through your spark plugs. It should show a little flash every time. So in case you forget which side the switch you're on, or your ignition switch, at least you can check it. Well, I'm pretty confident in that, so I know it turns over, it will fire. So I think the next thing to do is to get this on an engine stand, and we're going to take this engine, separate it from the transmission, get it completely cleaned up, and we'll do a compression test on it just to make sure our cylinders are holding good compression. But other than that, it sounds pretty good just on its initial fire over. So we'll do a little bit more work on it, but wow, 40 years of sitting, and it's here, ready to go, ready to run, clean oil for another 40 years. So that's all I got for this episode. Check us out next time and subscribe to our page for more videos.